Alright, so welcome back to episode 4 of this mini-series to make a simple notes app. So just a recap of last episode. In last episode, we made our table in database, the notes table in database, which consisted of columns of ID created at, the title text, the body text, and as well as the last modified text for the note. And we also linked it to Flutterflow in the settings and integrations. You went to integrations. Under integrations, we went to Supabase, and under Supabase, we copy and pasted the API URL as well as the add-on key, and we pressed this button get schema to get the title, to get the Supabase table linked up to our Flutterflow app. Alright, so right now let's just go back to the widget tree, and in this episode, we will be adding the functionality of adding notes using this floating action button. So let's get right into it now. So how this will work is when we click on this floating action button, a pop-up screen will show from the bottom of the screen, which will allow us to input the title of our note, some body text for the note, as a button to add the note to our home page here under My Notes. So first, let's create a pop-up component with all those text input fields. So let's just add a new folder and name it components. And then under the components folder, we will add components. And we will name the components create note component. And we'll create blank. So for this create note component, we'll first add a container, and then we will add a title to a text widget to say what this component is. So create note. Then we will add two text fields, one for the title of the note and one to input the body text for the note. So just search text field over here, text field, and we'll wrap everything in a column. And inside the column, we add another text field. Cool. Let's just make the container a bit bigger. Let's give it a width of. Let's just remove the width so it takes the width of the child widgets inside it. And for the height, we'll just give it a height of 400. And also let's add some padding in the container itself. Let's give it uniform padding of 16. Oops, sorry, not the container. We add the padding inside the column itself, so that the container size remains the same, but everything inside the column gets padded. Okay, nice. Let's also go into the column, scroll all the way down and add some item spacing. Let's add item spacing of 8 so that everything is spaced out more and it looks better. So click on the first text field and let's rename it to title text field. And let's rename the other text field to body text field. And for title text field, click on title text field and scroll down to the label text. Let's change the label text to title. Let's change it to enter note title. And for the body text field, under label text, we just change it to enter body text. Okay, and lastly, within the column, let's just add one more widget, which will be the button to create a note. So with the button selected, you just go to the text property under button text, and we'll just say change it to create note. Capitalize the C, and yep, it looks good enough. So let's just add some rules for the form. So we only want it to create a note when the note title and body tag, when the note title is not empty. The note title and body text are both not empty. So we can wrap the column in a new widget called a form validation. So what this will do is it will check whether the note title and the note body are both not empty, are not null, and then only we will be able to create the note. So with the form validation selected, we'll just click on these two checkboxes. So as you can see, there's an error message of field is required, and field is required here too. So that means that it will check whether the note title field and the body field are both not empty, and only then will we be able to do an action. So click on the button, and this is where we will create the note. So click on the button and go to the actions and open the action flow manager. We'll add action and we'll search for validate. And this is how we can validate the form. We select the form and it's form one over here. So this validates the form and checks whether the two fields that we have are empty or not. And only if they are both not empty, then we can move on to the second action. Our second action will be inserting. We'll be taking the data that we have entered inside the two text fields and then inserting a new row inside our Supabase table and saving this data. So for this, we'll just search for Supabase. And under Supabase, we'll just click on Insert Row to insert a new row. We can select our Supabase table, which is named Notes, and this is the same one. Then we can add our fields that we want into our Supabase table. So we don't want to add the ID because that will be automatically generated by Supabase. What we want to do is add the title as well as the body text. So the title, the value that we want to add under the title column inside the Supabase table is the value that we enter inside the text, the title text field. So we can click on this, and then under widget state, we can click on title text field, enter note title. And we can do the same thing for the body text. Click on this orange icon, and under widget state, we will just click on body text field. And this will take what we have entered inside the title text field as well as the body text field and send it over into this Supabase table under a new row. Right, so now that it's done, you can close it, and this will be our create node component done. So we can go back to our home page and we can select this floating action button. So when we have this floating action button, let's just delete that action first. When we click on this floating action button, what we want to happen is to show this create node component. Alright, so under the action flow editor, we just open that and we click add an action. We can search for show, and under bottom sheet, we can just click show. So this, and as for the select component parameter, we just click on select component and we'll click on the create node component that we just made just now. And this will show our component that we just made, our form, whenever we click the floating action button. Okay. And you can scroll down and you can enable drag, which allows us to drag down the component when we no longer want it. So we can just use that. We can toggle that to true, just for a little bit of more flair to our app. Alright, we can click close and that should be done. Alright, so now we want to link our list view to our data to our Supabase table, so that we are able to extract the data which is within our Supabase table and reflect it in the UI over here. So with the list view selected, we can click on this new menu, which is backend query. So this will send a query to our Supabase table and we can extract data that we want from this table using this. So under the backend query, we just click on the button add query, and under query type we just click on Supabase query. As for the table, we want to extract data from the notes table, so just click on notes. And for the query type, we want to return a list of rows. So we want all the rows that are inside our notes table, which is more than one. So we'll just click list on rows. We'll just leave it as list of rows. For the filters, we don't want any filter since we want every row that is within our notes table. So we'll just leave that as null. So we can add some ordering to our notes in the list view, and if we want to order by the last modified time to be on the top of the list view, we can do that by adding the order by, and under table field name we just select last modified, and the order will be decreasing. You can click on confirm and confirm here too, and you can see this. Now we have multiple list notes. We can add some padding so that they are not squished together. So just click on select the list tile container, and we can add some top padding of 16. Okay, that looks better. Okay, yeah. And one more thing, because whenever we're adding a note now whenever we click the floating action button, which will show the create note component, and whenever we create a note, although we are sending data and inserting data into the Supabase table, we are actually not refreshing our list view whenever we want to reload the data. So let me first show you what happens if we leave it like that. Cut. Resume. Alright, so now let's just test our app with the test mode that I've loaded up right here. Alright, so our test mode has just loaded up. We can try testing our app now. we can click on the floating action button and we can see this, our component has successfully loaded. And click it. Let's just try with nothing inside the text fields. And as you can see, there is some validation. So our form validation is working, as it says field is required for both the note and body text. So let's just add a title. And some body text, and let's just try creating a note. We can see that we can try to refresh our database, and we can see that it has indeed created something. It has inserted the row of, it has cut, resume. It has inserted one row which has the title of my title and body text of Hello World. So our connection with our Superbase table and inserting of the row is correct and it's working perfectly. However, we can see that there's some problem over here. We can try again. When we click create note, there's something wrong. There's something wrong over here with how our UI is showing up. It is still saying title and body text and date. It's not showing the correct data from the Superbase table, the my title and hello world and this other stuff. So what we forgot to do was that we forgot to change the text of these text widgets to the data that we took from our Superbase table, since it's just a constant value now. So what we have to do is click on the title text and click on this orange icon, and now we can see that there's this new option for us to select the notes row, which is from our list view query that we have set up just now. So we can click on the notes row, and as you can see, there are some other options. We have the title column and body text, which is exactly what we want. So we can click on title and give it just a default value of a space. And now it has linked up to the value, to the parameter of title. You can do the same thing for the body text. And just select body text, give it a default value of a space. Alright, so for the date, we can also do the same thing. Just select date. Sorry. Click on notes row and you can select the last modifier. Default value of space. Yep, okay, so that should be it. We can go to our test session and do an instant reload. As you can see, there is an error over here, and it says that there's an unexpected null value. So what is happening is that we are assigning the last modified parameter from our table over here. However, you can see that our last modified is actually null, is a null value, and this will cause the unexpected null value error in Flutterflow. So to solve that, we have to create some, we have to give a value to the last modified timestamp so that it is not null. And to do that, we have to go back to our create node component. And when we insert the row inside the Superbase table, we also have to select the field and insert the last modified field into the Superbase table. As for the value, we can just go to this, and under global properties, we can just select current time. and then we can reload our test mode. We have to first delete these two tables inside Supabase. If not, it will still be collecting the null value last modified data, and it will still give the error. So you just go to this and delete these two rows. So because there's no row and there's no data in the Supabase table, it'll be a blank page. So let's just try creating a new note. Yep, and as you can see, it works. There's a my title, because that's the title that we put in the Supabase table row. And then there's the body text, hello world, and then we have the last modified timestamp as well over here. Alright, so that marks the end of the episode for today. I hope you enjoyed it and you have learned something new. I hope that you've really been able to appreciate that app development isn't going to be smooth sailing all the ways. There'll be a lot of bugs and some errors that you'll face, a lot of them actually. But it just takes a bit of time and a bit of thinking to be able to solve these errors. Understand where these errors and bugs come from, and then you will be able to find a solution to counteract them, and it will help to fast track your app development and make your app work the way that you intended it to. Alright, so thank you all, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Goodbye.